possible if we can get through the notes quickly. That is only possible if I can talk and only hear myself. That would be the dream. The dream. Okay, so, yes, dear. Okay, so, what was I going to say? Oh, math. This is the math workshop that the sub passed out on Monday. We finished up the other page yesterday. So if you lost yours, it's in the Monday, which was the 23rd. You know, eventually, into this 9 weeks, there'll be another math workshop test. Speaking of tests coming up, not next week, but the beginning of the following week, we're going to have our perfect cubes test. So next week, we're going to go over them every day. But if Paige is worried about that, that's something, if she wanted to start studying, it would be smart to start studying. Because, yes, I know 1 cubed is 1 and 2 cubed is 8. But, like, 5 cubed is 125. Knowing that off the top of your head, it's not that easy. So it is going to require some studying, and that is also going to go into 60. Speaking of things going into 60, we have a test coming up. When is our test? Kenzie said it first. She gets the point. Yeah, she did. She's quiet, but she said it first. It is on Tuesday, which means we're reviewing on Monday. And last time I was really nice and I took off problems off the study guide. It's not happening this time. The study guide's at the end of your packet. It is, let's see, 11 on that side. It's 25 problems. So honestly, when Seth gets done dancing and he gets all his workbook stuff done today, he ought to go ahead and start this 25 problem thing, because I'm not changing it to just the evens. You have to do them all this time. So it would be smart for you to go ahead and start the study guide before Monday. Because what happened last test is you forgot to turn it in. What category do I put study guides in?
30.
You can all have a point. I put categories in the 30% category. So why would you not turn it in the day of the test when I give you the answers the night before? That I do not know. Okay, I've graded all your quizzes now, the ones that have finished. The ones that haven't finished, you need to get your life together, because I've been typed in the 0. Ha 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 ha. I have. Let's see, there was something else to do with that. Oh, there's a kid in 3rd period who every single matrix answer, he wrote like this, with bars, instead of brackets. Why is that a bad idea? Table 1, take a point away. Why is that a bad idea? Well, it's not absolute value with determinants. I said the word. Darn. It's not absolute value with matrices. But it does imply you're trying to do the determinant of a matrix. God, I said my own answer. That stinks. Oh well. It is Friday. So to recap, everything on that quiz is on the next test. Table 5, lose a point. My gosh, we got some mature people in here today. So you have to add, subtract, multiply. That's still happening. But you also have to know how to do determinants and what we talked about yesterday, which was what? Yes, table 6 can have a point. You have to talk about inverses, and we have to use inverses because we can't do what operation? What operation can we not do with matrices? We can't divide. We can add, subtract, and multiply, but we can't divide. 4 and 2 get a point. We can't divide, so we need an inverse. Okay, so today is the final piece in our matrix puzzle, and it's the piece, 5 lose another point. My gosh, you're on fire today. It's the final piece in the puzzle, and to be honest, after I show Arturo this remaining piece, he's going to be a little mad at me about the last chapter, but it's okay, because he needed to know how to do things by hand, because that is important. He learned good math skills, but he is going to be mad at me at the end of class today, I can tell you that much. Okay, let's go ahead and do the 6 factoring problems, get those out of the way. On the first one, what should I do? You said you had them done. Yes, thank you, Arturo. You take out an 8, so you're left with a 2t minus 5y. Arturo gets the point. Hey, you had these done. Okay, what can we do on the second problem? Grouping, because there are 4 terms. 1 and 3 get a point. I'm going to take out a 3d. I'm left with a t minus 7. I take out a negative 5. I'm also left with a t minus 7. I'm happy. Why?
Because they're both the same.
Because they're both the same. Every group can have a point. So I have 3D minus 5 times t minus 7. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is written in a weird order. Can you put it in the correct order to help us factor?
Plus 64.
We're still going to give Jay the point. She was put in the right order. She just had a sign error. Okay, and when you factor this, because now it's nice factoring because there's a 1 in front, what do you end up getting? What times what and what plus what? Well, I know 8 times 8 is 64, but 8 plus 8 is 16. So it can't be that. So I need two things that multiply to 64 and add to negative 8. Well, 64 and 1, they subtract is 63. I got to come up with something else. Thank you.
For the lesson class.
Thank you. That's awesome. Oh, it's mine. Awesome. Even better. Okay. Those are nice and thick. I appreciate that. Okay, so things 4 times what? 4 times 16 is 64, she said. And then if you do, but 16 minus 4 is an 8. It's 12.
Negative 4 times 2. Oh, wait, I'm thinking about the 8 times
8 times 8. So things that multiply to 64. 8 times 8. 4 times 16. We got to have some other options. 2 and 32. 1 and 64. I don't think 3 times anything. I don't know. Does anything else multiply to 64? So we couldn't factor. So it was not factorable. We're not going to say no solution. We're just going to say not factorable. So, you know, when we finally get out of this matrix chapter, which is going to happen on Tuesday because we're pulling the plug, man, we're finally going to move on to quadratics. And eventually, if you can't factor it like the way we're trying to do with our brain, you go to the handy-dandy quadratic formula, and you will always get an answer because there's potential that this is either decimal or it could be like an imaginary number, which is scary enough. Okay, so number 4 is my favorite problem of the day. There's a reason why. And 3 gets the point because it's perfect squares. There was no GCF, but I recognized immediately when I saw 25, I thought perfect squares. So I know there's a 5B. I know there's a 5B. But what about 361?
19.
19. So it's plus 19 and minus 19. 2 and 3 get the point. Didn't you memorize 1 through 25? She just recalled it. Oh, and this is where life gets hard. You know, tell you what, I decided not to bust you up, but I'm really having second thoughts. I don't know. I don't know. I have mixed emotions. He normally is good at getting points, so if he loses them, he probably earned the ones he lost. Okay, so I need to factor this, and it's not easy factoring. Why is it not easy factoring? But why is it, say it again, why is it not easy factoring? What's the problem with it? I can't just say two things that add to negative 2 and multiply to negative 5. Why? Why? Why is this not easy factoring? What's happened with the leading coefficient? It's not 1, it's a 3. God bless you, Miss Brewster. I was talking to myself, I thought. Okay. So next chapter, we have to be brave and start factoring stuff that doesn't have a 1 in front. Now, there are different ways I can teach you. We could bust them up. We could star method it. And there are lots of ways. I really just want to know today if we could just guess it. Because if we can just guess it, that will make Miss Compton's life so much easier. Okay, so if we're guessing, we're still wanting things that multiply to 5, so like 1 and 5. But when we end up doing the outer and the inner, we want them to add to negative 2. So the only things that multiply to 5 are 1 and 5, right? But now we've got to decide, do I put the 1 here, do I put the 5 there, or where does the 1 go, where does the 5 go? And then you got to think which one's negative, which one's positive. So I'm thinking the 5 goes here, and the 1 goes here. I'm just guessing. It's why it's called guess and check. I'm just guessing. Yes, dear?
For me, my answer way before we even did this was 3p minus 5 times p plus 1.
Okay, let's try his. He's just guessing. We're just guessing. And if we're wrong, we're going to check it. We're going to FOIL it out and check it. And if we're wrong, we might have made a sign error, or maybe the 1s and 5s need to swap spots. But honestly, if you can guess and check, that's the easiest way to go. I can teach you other ways, but this way would be the most mathy to me. So 3p squared, if we're checking. 3p squared, yep, he's right on the first part, plus 3p minus 5p, outer, inner, and last minus 5. We combine those like terms, we get 3p squared minus 2p minus 5. So our churro is right. It's 3p minus 5p plus 1. If you were like our churro and you could have guessed your way into that answer, that's terrific. If not, I promise we're going to discuss other ways to come. But God bless you, your algebra teacher already spent a lot of time on that with you, and you've just forgotten. It seems like every year you learn how to factor and then you forget. I don't know why. It's strange. Strange phenomena. Should be like a study on that. Okay, are there any questions on number 5? That's why Miss Compton's not going to do number 10 today, because it's got a 2 in front, and that looks hard. There's another problem that looks hard below, and that's number 9. So if you were really brave, you try 7 through 10 for homework. Those are the ones we're going to do Monday, because they have some doozies on that. Number 6 is our final one for the day. What can I do on it?
Take out 2 and
And you're left with 2ab plus a minus 5b. Beautiful. Thank you, Dave, for your point. Okay, if everyone has that, then take out your notes from yesterday. We're still on page 9. We're only doing the bottom 6. Now, I'm going to write this on a separate sheet of paper just because I don't think there's enough room, but if you want to try to squeeze it on there, you can. Long story short, well, it's really not that long of a story. Do you know how to solve these by hand already?
Yeah.
And you can solve for X, Y, and Z. Didn't we already learn about that?
Yeah.
So, Kinsey can still solve these by hand. And if you're good at solving by hand, that's a good skill to have, because they might ask you a specific question about how you're solving, or like what process are you using. And I would use elimination, for instance, on number 2, and I would say, it'd be easy to get rid of the x's. Maybe I'll multiply these 2 lines by -3. Or I don't know, you pick a variable, you attack it, you use elimination a lot, you get rid of things. It's awesome. But that's not what we're going to do today. So today we're going to really disappoint you. And we're going to find out that life is way, way easier than you think. Okay. So, it turns out we made life way too hard this whole time. We can actually put this into a matrix, put that in our calculator, and get the answer. And Seth no longer has to do elimination 5 times. So, that's the good news. Bad news is you're a little bitter because I've made you do it by hand this whole time. Okay, so when I set up my matrix, in my first row, I'm going to put the numbers in front of the x's. So the numbers in front of the x's are 2, 3, 4. So my first column says 2, 3, 4. In my second column, I'm going to put the coefficients in front of the y's. So I'm going to put 1, 2, 1. In my third column, I'm going to put the coefficients in front of the z's. So 1, 3, 2. So, man, life looks so nice, and I wish I could have a final bracket there. That handout I gave you last week that said something about the calculator, I'm going to show you how to do it quickly by hand now. But if you forget the directions we go through, that handout explains it again. Okay, so I'm actually going to erase that bracket mark. And I think I'm going to put the numbers in a final column. So, again, your equation has to have the x's, the y's, the z's in line, then the equal to sign, then the numbers. So there's potential that they don't put it in the right order. So you might have to rearrange. But for number 1, it's set up perfectly. So 1, 12, negative 1 is my numbers gone. Okay, when I had it with just x's and y's and z's, before I added that column with the numbers, what kind of matrix was it? What kind of matrix was it? When I had just the x, y, and z, and I didn't have this last column, what kind of matrix was it? It was square. It was a 3 by 3. Okay, what was the identity matrix for a square one? Didn't it have 1s and 0s? And 1s are on the what part? They're on the diagonal. Hunter, you can get a point. So just a reminder, the 3 by 3 identity matrix was 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So if you're able to pick that out today, that's a good idea. It's in, yes, it's the last page. Or back of the print. Okay, so if you have your cute little handout, now would be the great time to pull that bad boy out. So what we're going to do is there's a magic button we can press, and we can make our calculator solve this for us. And then if it gives us the identity matrix, we have a normal answer. And then if we end up getting something that's not the identity matrix, as always in life, it either ends up being a no solution or all remembered. Okay, so Paige, let me steal your handout. Okay, before we go looking at our handout, let's type this matrix into our calculator. So let's go to Edit. I have a 3 by 4. 3 rows, 4 columns. 3 by 4. And I'm going to type it in as I see it. 2, 1, 1, 1. 2, 1, 1, 1. 3, 2, 3, 12. 4, 1, 2. Negative 1. So I typed in exactly what I had on my paper. Now I'm pretty sure you knew you were going to type it in. That's not surprising. Here's the button you would like to know about today that you probably want to write on your notes, which is also on your cute little handout. We are going to press matrix. Do what, dear? Wasn't my last number negative 1? Oh, it's a negative 1. Okay, so we're still going to press the matrix button. We're still going to go over the math. So I see matrix, I'm going to go over to math. But instead of pressing determinant, because we're not doing the determinant today, today we want to make it solve this system. And the button to make it solve this system is strange. It's RF. You have to scroll and find it. He's not easy to find. It's letter V. We don't want ref, we want RF. Okay, so I'm wanting to do RF. Oh, I didn't type it on the right screen. So second matrix, math. I want RF. Where'd you go, RF? There you are. And then I have to tell it my matrix A because I typed my bad boy in on A. So I press RF of my matrix. And look, lo and behold, don't you see that identity matrix?
Yes.
So my answer is X is negative 4, Y is 3, and Z is 6. The identity matrix isn't part of the answer. The answer is the final 3 numbers. So my answer, if I actually solve this out by hand, I would get negative 4, 3, 6. So it's exactly what you think. X is the top number, Y is the middle, Z is the bottom. It's that easy. So now Valeria is not having to do elimination 5 times. All she has to do is type the system in as a matrix, press RF, and RF does all the magic for her. Which is terribly depressing, I know. Are there any questions about that? Okay, well then let's go to number 2. We need to set up number 2 the same way. So on number 2, it was in my X column, I'm going to put 622. In my Y column, I'm going to put -4, -2, 2. And what am I going to put in my Z column? Thank you, 3 and 6 at a point. And then in my numbers column, I'm going to put -4, 10, and -2. Now, I understand that took time to write out on your paper, but I can give Hunter some pity points for he mistyped if he at least has that on his paper. Otherwise, if Hunter's doing the whole thing in his calculator, that's hard. Okay, I'm going to type this in on B. I don't care what letter you type it in on. I'm going to type this in on B. So I'm editing B. It's a 3x4. 6, -4, 2, -4, 2, -2, 6, 10, -2, 2, 2, -2. So I take my equation, I take my matrix, I type it in my calculator. I get off this screen. I press second matrix. I go to math. And then the key thing today to solve a system is RF. So I scroll down to RF. I want RF of, I typed it in B. Oh, and there it is again. Identity matrix on the left, answers on the right. So my answer is -7, -9, 1. So X is -7, Y is -9, and Z is 1. And seriously, all that time Seth spent solving 3 systems with 3 unknowns, wasted. And then even those challenge problems that we were, I think Kinsey was the only one in this period to do them. Those challenge problems from the other day with like 4 variables, 4 unknowns, 5 equations, 5 unknowns. Yeah, you could type those in too. The calculator can solve it all. You're just looking to see identity matrix on the left, answers on the right. Okay, are there any questions about this?
If there's like one that has no variables.
So, and that you can have a point for that. So let's look at, yes, dear. You didn't.
I looked over the numbers. I think you put it in the last row in the second too. I think you did.
I probably didn't. That would get you a point if I'm wrong, because Lord knows I've been in a hurry all day. So I did 6, -4,
Yeah, the -2 is
2, -4.
There it is.
Oh, I put an extra -2. Thank you. And Arturo and Hunter can have a point. So my answer's wrong because Miss Compton typed it in wrong. But Miss Compton can at least give herself some pity points because she did at least show a little bit of work. Thank you, boys. Math, RF, second matrix B. My answer was supposed to be something completely different. It should have been -2, -1, 2. So that's the really bad part about this, which I know it's sad to say I'm happy I made a mistake, but I am happy I made a mistake. I really didn't mean to, but I'm happy. Because that's the problem with this. Seth typed all this in, has no work to show, got the wrong answer. How does he get any points? It was a lot easier when you actually showed work and you tried real hard with all the different eliminations. Okay, Paige asked a good question, which is what is going to happen on number 3. So let's set up the matrix for number 3. What numbers should I put in the X column? 5, 5, 0, because there is no X. Thank you, Hunter. You can have a point. And then for the Y's, I'm going to do -5, 0, because there is no Y on the middle one, and then 5. And the Z's are actually nice, so 5, -5, 10, and my numbers are 10, 5, 0. Are there any questions about how we set up the matrix on number 3? Okay, so I'm going to go type it in my calculator. I'm going to type it in C. It's still a 3x4. 5, -5, 5, 10, 5, 0, -5, 5, 0, 5, 10, 0. If you've got the answer, shout it out and get it before me. That would be nice. That is not what I got. That's what I got. So when I typed in my exact matrix, so when I said RF of I typed it in C, I see the identity matrix on the left, I see 1.25, negative 0.5, and 0.25 on the right. You and I talked about wanting fractions though, so if you'd like to change this all to fractions, you can still math frac, and it'll still change your answers into fractions. I'm not going to care. I just think fractions are easier. So I think 5/4, negative 1/2, and 1/4 is easier. But if you do 1.25, negative 0.5, and 0.25, that's fine. Okay, are there any questions about this? There should be. Every single time we've done when there's been an answer, haven't we talked about infinitely many and no solutions? So we need to know what those look like. So if you're looking at your cute little handout, your calculator handout, on the back it tells you, if you press RF, and so far we've been getting identity matrix, the answers are on the right. But if you press RF and you don't get the identity matrix, instead it's missing that one on the diagonal and the Z term is 0, that's when you know it's infinitely many. Which is really annoying because the only difference between it and no solution is their third value is 1. So you do have to keep them straight. Okay, I'm gonna be so lazy. I'm just gonna type number 4 straight in my calculator. If you can beat me to the answer on number 4, I will give your group a point. Number 4, if you can leave me the answer, you can have the point. Or if you can tell me the answer, because I haven't said mine out loud yet. Yes, dear. That is not what I got. No one typed it in and got an answer. Yes, ma'am.
I got negative 2, 0, negative.
That's exactly what I got in your group. We'll give you 2 points for it. Okay, if you can meet me in the answer on number 5, I'll give your group 2 points as well. You really did beat me. And then I made a typo, so it went great. Yes, dear.
I think I got the answer.
I bet you did, but Reagan's had it for like 2 minutes, so we're going to let him go first. Actually, you can't say it in unison, can you? Reagan, will you humor me and nod your head yes if he has the right answer? Tell me your answer.
0, 0, 1.
Is that what you got?
I got infinitely many.
And why is that?
0.
Okay, so you got this. Yeah, so we'll do 1, 3, and 5 for time. Down a point. We'll actually give Reagan 2 because he understood it first. I got this. So I don't technically have the identity matrix, do I? And then because there's that 1 on the bottom, if you look at your answer key, 1 on the bottom is supposed to be no solution. So I'm thinking it's a no solution. I know you said infinitely many, but I think, according to my answer thing, 1 on the bottom means no solution. Now, I think that makes perfect sense, and I'm like 90% positive there is no solution just by looking at the equations. If you look at number 5, 4, 5, negative 4, negative 4. 4, 6, negative 4, 0. Those are two similar, yet not exactly alike. They both have the same number in front of the x's, same number in front of the y's, yet different number, same number in front of the x's, same number in front of the z's, but different numbers in front of the y's. I knew something fishy was going to happen then. Okay, and then if you can beat me on number 6, you can have 2 points, which if you're late rating, you can literally beat me, because I don't know how you're so fast. But you are. Yeah, no, he's just good. Yes. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Turn them into fractions.
Oh, you did, okay.
Press math frac. Math, then frac. Did you get something crazy?
Yes, sir, but I'll put it in the first.
I put it in fractions too. Do your fractions look like my fractions? Well, hope you can see my
On
fractions.
those.
I got one can get a point, 5 can get a point, 6 can get a point. Anyone else show me this from the other three? I can count today. Okay, but so it's not the identity matrix, so we already know it's either no solution or infinitely many solutions. There's a 0 at the very bottom. Which one is it? Yes. And that is moral of today's story. Okay, I rambled for a long time. You still have a workbook page 43. I haven't seen anybody's because it just happened yesterday. If you've not shown me your other workbook pages, you need to rectify that.